Metallica's frontman built custom cars so good they ended up in a museum. James Hetfield writes songs about death, war, and addiction for one of the loudest bands on earth. He also builds cars so refined that one of them won Custom of the Year at America's most prestigious hot rod show. In 2019, the Metallica frontman did something almost no serious collector ever does. He gave his entire collection away, for free, to a museum, so that strangers could see what a metal icon does with his hands when the guitar is put down. This is the full list of every car, counted down from 10 to 1. Number 10. Blackjack, the 1932 Ford Roadster. Blackjack is the most historically faithful car in the entire collection, built by Josh Mills & Company in Marietta, California, to resemble a genuine 1940s-era Roadster, the kind that would have cruised the streets of Los Angeles and raced across the dry lakes of the California desert in period. Hetfield and Dore made a deliberate point of using only period-correct parts and components, including authentic drum brakes, refusing any modern shortcut that would compromise the car's vintage accuracy. A pristine, fenderless 1932 Ford Highboy build, Blackjack carries no modern bodywork, no hidden technology, and no concession to contemporary comfort, relying entirely on the original Ford chassis and the restraint of its builders. It stands in deliberate contrast to the more theatrical coach-built creations elsewhere in the collection, proof that Hetfield's taste extends as comfortably into restrained authenticity as it does into full creative reinvention. Number 9. Straight Edge, the 1956 Ford F-100. Straight Edge began life as a 1956 Ford F-100 pickup and emerged as a stretched crew cab truck built specifically to be driven regularly, with both its interior and exterior designed knowing Hetfield intended daily use rather than show-only display. It runs a 455 cubic inch Oldsmobile V8, refreshed by Rex Hutchinson racing engines, paired with a TH400 transmission and a 9-inch rear end for rear-wheel power delivery. The body incorporates a 1960 to 1961 Chrysler grille, along with matching accents and wheels, plus a 1957 Ranchero tailgate worked seamlessly into the rear design. Following 1960s custom car convention, the truck wears a multi-tone purple paint scheme with dark violet scalloped details, a metal flake roof, and black and white pinstriping. The interior is finished in pearlized vinyl by Ward Auto Interiors. Number 8. Crimson Ghost, the 1937 Ford Coupe. Built by Rick Dore Customs, Crimson Ghost draws its inspiration from the glamour of the 1920s and the gritty gangster films of the 1930s, such as The Public Enemy. Dore lengthened the fenders of the original 1937 Ford Coupe to create a smoother silhouette, then layered in aggressive details, including a lowered roof, thick acrylic headlights, and a custom-angled grille that gives the car a deliberately tough, tailored presence. The interior pushes the era-appropriate design further than expected, with a bench-style seat, custom dashboard configuration, and a windshield that opens. Features more advanced than anything that era of automobile would have originally offered. Within the collection, Crimson Ghost is often described as the visual bridge between the raw aesthetic of Iron Fist and the refined elegance of Voodoo Priest, combining graceful period lines with an unmistakably aggressive attitude. Number 7. Iron Fist, the 1936 Ford Coupe. Before it became Iron Fist, this 1936 Ford 5-window coupe lived its earlier life as a rat rod, fitted with a chopped roof, a lowered suspension, and oversized exhaust pipes, deliberately unfinished in the way true rat rods are meant to look. Scott Mugford of Blue Collar Customs reshaped the trunk lid from its original square design into a smooth oval and fabricated an entirely new metal roof, along with an air-ride suspension system and an unusual air conditioning unit borrowed from an electric vehicle and housed in the trunk. The car runs a 350 cubic inch Chevrolet V8, finished bare metal under clear coat with a polished chrome engine on display. This is one of the only cars in the entire collection where Hetfield personally performed welding work himself, rather than relying solely on his builders. Iron Fist even has a matching companion piece, a metal and clear coat guitar that Hetfield used on tour, styled to visually pair with the car. Number 6. Dead Kennedy, the 1961 Lincoln Continental. Dead Kennedy is a car in Hetfield's collection that carries the heaviest unintended weight. Built from a 1961 Lincoln Continental, rather than a full custom body, the car is comparatively restrained. A lower suspension, a redesigned grille, shaved door handles, and eerie green marker lights, all powered by the original 430 cubic inch V8 and handled by Blue Collar Customs alongside Hetfield himself. Its mix of flat and glossy black paint, combined with its unmistakable resemblance to the presidential limousine involved in the JFK assassination, has made the car genuinely unsettling for some who encounter it, an effect that appears entirely deliberate given the grim precision of the name itself, even as the build quality remains as meticulous as anything else Hetfield has produced. Number 5. Voodoo Priest, the 1937 Lincoln Zephyr. Voodoo Priest carries one of the most unusual origin stories in the entire collection. The donor Lincoln Zephyr had originally belonged to a Vietnam veteran who abandoned the car after returning home from his tour of duty, leaving it to sit untouched for more than 4 decades before Rick Dore tracked it down and acquired it for Hetfield. The Zephyr itself was already historically significant, based on a prototype by Dutch designer John Tjarda and modified by Ford stylist E.T. Gregory into the best-selling streamlined car of the 1930s, featuring teardrop-shaped fenders, a sloping back, downward-sloping side windows, and headlights molded flush into the front fenders. Hetfield and Dore kept the original flathead V12 engine, rebuilding it through H&H flatheads and fitting chrome Stromberg 97 carburetors paired with a C4 automatic transmission, producing 110 horsepower that remains fully functional to this day. The car rides on 16-inch artillery-style chrome wheels, wrapped in hand-lettered Coker tires Firestone wide whites with Zephyr caps, and the interior is a black mohair Art Deco design with candy red and vanilla white accents beneath a mirrored red paint job. Voodoo Priest won the H.A. Bagdasarian Award for World's Most Beautiful Custom at the Sacramento Autorama, then went on to win the Mother's West Coast Customs of the Year Award at the Good Guys 30th All-American Get-Together in 2012, making it one of the most decorated cars Hetfield has ever built. Number 4. Slow Burn, the 1936 Auburn Boat Tail Speedster. Slow Burn reimagines a classic Auburn 852 Boat Tail Speedster, a body style originally associated with glamour and high-speed racing aerodynamics, designed to make it harder for competitors to draft. The bodywork was reconstructed in fiberglass to allow far greater design freedom than the original sheet metal would have permitted. Hetfield and Dore added a sloped Carson-style convertible top to emphasize the car's curves, finished the fenders in a root beer paint to contrast against a darker body color, and built custom taillights using Chevrolet housings, combined with lenses borrowed from a 1959 Cadillac. Rob Devine and Rick Dore created the interior from Egyptian leather. Hetfield, a noted Captain America fan, has said the inspiration partly traces back to the look of the Red Skull's car from the first Captain America film, filtered entirely through his own taste in production and color. Number 3. Skyscraper, the 1953 Buick Skylark. Skyscraper began life as a 1953 Buick Skylark, a car that was already a serious, sought-after factory collector vehicle long before Hetfield got involved. Most owners of an original Skylark would never consider modifying one. Rick Dore recalls the moment the project began simply. When James asked him to build it, Dore said he would love to, adding, "Who gets to do a Skylark?" The finished car retains the dipped beltline and fully radiused wheel openings of Harley Earl's original design, but de-chromed and smoothed off, arguably even more refined than the factory original. Hetfield then layered in details that reveal exactly who built the car. The accelerator pedal is shaped like a kick-bass drum pedal. The instrument gauges mimic the perloid plastic of Fender guitar picks. It is the most overtly musical car in his entire collection. Built in a pale purple shade, Hetfield says he had committed to long before he even knew which car he would put it on. Number 2. Aquarius, the 1934 Packard. Aquarius is widely considered the showpiece of the entire collection, a low-slung silver roadster built once again by Rick Dore and Marcel Delay. Hetfield found his inspiration in the 1939 Delahaye Type 165, borrowing its dramatic rear fin and billowing fenders, then adding side exhaust pipes and pointed window trim of his own design. The finished car resembles a kind of coach-built confection that legendary Parisian artisans, Fagoni and Falaschi, might have handcrafted for Delahaye in the mid-1930s. Unlike Black Pearl's purely show-focused build, Aquarius hides a genuine beast under its elegant skin, a 6.2-liter LS3 V8, making it significantly more powerful than almost anything else in the collection. Hetfield has actually used Aquarius on stage while touring with Metallica, the only car in his garage to double as concert production equipment. At the Petersen Museum's reclaimed Rust exhibition, Aquarius was displayed slowly rotating on its own turntable, capped with a rakish removable hardtop, the unmistakable centerpiece of the entire show. Number 1. Black Pearl, the 1948 Jaguar Mark V. The Black Pearl is, by Hetfield's own account, and by the judgment of America's most respected hot rod competition, the single greatest car he has ever created. He has called it his favorite car in the entire collection. It began life as a 1948 Jaguar Mark V sedan, but almost nothing of that original car survives in the finished product. Only the outer frame rails of the original chassis remain. The build started not with a car, but with a drawing. Hetfield sketched what he called the ultimate cool shape for an automobile, and brought that sketch to Rick Dore, initially intending only to customize the existing Jaguar body. The plan escalated until the team decided to discard virtually everything and build an entirely new aluminum body from scratch, leaving only the outer frame rails of the original chassis untouched. Metal fabricators Marcel and Luc Delay hand-hammered raw aluminum and steel sheets into massive pontoon fenders and swooping contours that combine the curved Art Deco lines of 1930s French coach-built cars with the aggressive stance and lowered roofline of 1950s American hot rods. The door handles are deleted entirely, as is the B-pillar, two recurring design signatures across nearly every car Hetfield has built. Beneath that hand-formed body sits a thoroughly modern chassis with independent front and rear suspension, on airbags, and a 4-link 9-inch rear axle, powered by a 375-horsepower, 302 cubic inch Ford V8 driving through a Ford C4 automatic transmission, with a Mustang II front end handling the steering. The interior is finished in cream leather by Ron Mangus, with brushed brass accents replacing traditional chrome throughout. In 2014, the Black Pearl won the Custom of the Year award at the Good Guys show in Pleasanton, California, one of the most significant honors in the entire custom car world.